So I've noticed that the main argument that propertarians are completely unable to defend is why they are allowed to violate their own non-aggression principle when it comes to private property. According to propertarians, private property is whatever you claim to belong to you, even if the rest of society views that very ownership as a form of theft. And they believe it is okay to use force, sometimes even deadly force, if someone tries to violate that right. But rights do not exist in the absence of some form of governing body which establishes and defends those rights. In the propertarian utopia, property would belong to whichever warlord has the most guns and influence. And there's nothing in a propertarian utopia that would keep these warlords from owning news outlets and shaping public opinion. Out of feudalism was born states. Propertarianism would just give birth to new states and most likely authoritarian ones. The following debate between Libertarian Party candidate Adam Kokesh and Sam Cedar highlights the primary flaw in propertarian ideology.
So we don't have to agree on all the rules globally. We only have to agree on one rule, and that's you own yourself and I own myself, and on ethical grounds.
What about property rights? What about property rights?
Right. Well, I generally believe in the Lockean concept of property rights. This seems to be the same one that's in line with this ethical concept of self-ownership. Of course, it's subjective based on how much labor mixing with natural resources qualifies you to own something.
Yeah. What if I don't?
Amount of subjectivity in that.
What if I don't?
What if you don't?
Yeah. What if I come from, let's say, a tradition of, let's say, Native American tradition of that does not recognize the property rights in a Lockean fashion? How do we resolve that? Well, you have a house. I walk into the house. I look around. I'm like, I'm going to sleep here tonight. How do we resolve that?
Well, I think generally speaking, we respect the right of ownership of a domicile, of a home, of a place to be able to protect yourself from the elements. But no, it comes down to being able to defend that.
I don't accept that. What do we do about it? I'm going to
defend my home against intruders.
Wait, what? You're not going to get you're going to initiate force against me?
Well, when I believe that I'm defending my property and I'm asserting that I have a right to own that, and you have violated my property, then that would be the act of aggression.
I assert that you don't have a right to own that property.
Well, I would hope that we could find a nonviolent way of resolving that.
You just told me I wasn't doing anything violent to you, man. I just came into your house. I was going to take it. I was going to sleep, and you just told me you were going to beat me up.
Well, I'm gonna ask you to leave. I'm gonna defend my home by force if necessary.
What do you mean your home?
I'm not getting that here.
Wait, what do you mean your home? I don't even get that. Where I come from, my people, we don't have your home. It's everybody's home. I'm going to sleep here tonight because I need to sleep. And
there's universal reality of the human condition, of being an independent consciousness in your own body that comes with it a certain concept of ownership, that you own yourself.
I know you own you, but this is a house. It's not a you. It's not alive. It's land. It's part of.
Well, let me ask you, if I walk up to you and I say, you don't own that shirt, and I start ripping that shirt off you, what are you going to do?
I'm going to call the police.
Okay. So you have an agreement with someone else to do exactly what I would be doing for myself for you. That's fine.
But wait a second. I don't have a non-aggression principle. I'm not espousing. But wait a second. I acknowledge that you could come up and grab my shirt. And that's why I subscribe to the idea that we as a society need to provide a monopoly of authority to the state. And that comes with a lot of conditions in my mind.
Right.
And there may be disagreements about how that relationship works. But fundamentally, I understand that because you and I may have a different concept of who owns this shirt, that I need to subscribe to an authority that will adjudicate it. And you don't. You don't think that we need a third party to adjudicate it, but at the same time, you're also telling me that, see, from my perspective, you're arbitrarily drawing a line, and that is property rights exist. Now, it's one thing to say, like, okay, as a human being, freedom, okay, That doesn't implicate anybody else. But it's the moment you draw a line around something and say, this is mine too, not just this human body that I take with me, but this other stuff is mine. Well, then you're implicating the rest of us, because it's not an infinite resource. And it's not one that is portable with yourself. You're deciding property rights are okay. And that doesn't make any sense. Based on what? That taking property is in and of itself a violent, aggressive act, because you are saying that I deem this area to be off limits to you.
This long, awkward pause by Adam Kokesh signifies that his ideology just got completely obliterated by Sam Seder. He now goes on to restate his position, forcing a circular debate and trying to halt progress in the conversation.
So this is based on the idea that as an individual human being, we all own ourselves.
Right.
And as human beings on this planet, we have a right.